Sounding natural in Japanese takes more than just knowing the words. Today, I'll be breaking down 3 levels to improve your accent, from simple shadowing to detailed pitch analysis so you can start leveling up right away. No fluff, just practical steps you can actually use. So let's get into level 1. So the simplest way to improve your Japanese accent without getting too technical is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to native Japanese audio and repeating it immediately, trying to match the rhythm, intonation, and pitch as closely as you can. And the cool thing is, you don't need to understand every word at first. The goal is to get your ears and mouth working together, training the muscle memory that makes fluent speech feel automatic. Think of it like karaoke, but for your speaking skills. Another thing that really helped me was finding a shadowing partner. And by that, I mean a YouTuber, celebrity, or podcaster whose voice you really like and honestly would like to sound like them someday in Japanese. If you consistently use the same person when you're shadowing, you're gonna have consistent pitches, accents, and tones to follow along with. So first off, start with short clips, 1 or 2 sentences from things you like, whether it's anime, podcasts, or YouTube, whatever keeps you coming back. You're gonna play the clip once, pause it, and repeat out loud, mimicking the speaker's tone, pacing, and pitch.
ここは入れちゃうのかな?
ここは入れちゃうのかな? And don't worry about sounding perfect right away. Focus on copying the flow and melody, even if you miss a word or two. By the way, I'll be applying each of these 3 levels to a single word at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. Shadowing helps your mouth and brain sync up with real Japanese, and over time, your accent will start to sound more natural without you having to overanalyze every sound. But if you want to avoid some common mistakes that may make your Japanese sound off, then you need to understand pitch accent. So let's break that down in level 2. Pitch accent in Japanese refers to the melody of the word, where the pitch rises or falls. This pattern gives Japanese its natural rhythm and helps distinguish meanings. Let's explore the 4 main pitch accent types, focusing on where the pitch rises and drops. And I like to color code pitch for easier learning, as you'll see in a second. Before we dive in, let's quickly talk about moras, the basic sound units in Japanese. A mora is a kind of beat in a word. It's usually one vowel or a consonant-vowel pair. For example, the word sakura has 3 moras, sakura. Each mora can have a high or low pitch, and the way that these pitches rise and fall is what creates pitch accent. So let's start off with heiban. The pitch starts low, then rises on the second mora and stays high for the rest of the word and the following particles. Sakura actually has a heiban pitch pattern, so if we use it in a sentence, it would look something like sakura wa saku. Now if you notice, both sakura and saku are actually both heiban words, and you'll notice that the wa after sakura stays high, but then drops to match the first lower pitch of saku, so we get sakura wa saku. Now moving on to atamadaka. The first mora stays high and then immediately drops for the rest of the word and the following particles. And the word ame actually has an atamadaka pitch pattern, and if used in a sentence, it would look like ame wa tsuyoi desu ne. So similar to our last sentence, the ending pitch of the first word and the pitch of the wa article that came after actually matched. You can also see that the des in there is actually atamadaka. Now, the word in there, tsuyoi, is actually nakadaka, which we'll be covering next. So with nakadaka, the pitch starts low and goes up similar to heiban, but somewhere in that word, it's going to drop back down, creating a sort of hump. One such word that actually has a nakadaka pitch pattern is onigiri, and if used in a sentence would look something like onigiri wa oishii desu. So you may notice that our first word, onigiri, ended low, and the wa particle following after also low, similar to the previous 2 pitch patterns. Now, oishii can actually be pronounced as heiban or nakadaka, but since it's followed by des, which starts high as atamadaka, it may be easier to say oishii desu instead of oishii desu. Now let's move on to our last pitch pattern, odaka, or tail high. So the pitch pattern starts low, then goes high in the second mora, and stays high for the entire word, and then it drops before the particle following. Now you'll notice it's very similar to heiban, but I'll break that down in this example. Now one word that happens to have an odaka pitch pattern is hana, and if used in a sentence would look something like hana wa suki desu. So unlike all of our previous examples, you'll notice that the ending pitch of our odaka word, hana, does not match the pitch of the following particle. We did not say hana wa, we said hana wa. So I have 2 quick tidbits to leave with you before we move on. In every Japanese word, the first 2 moras never share the same pitch. One will always be high and the other low. This difference helps set the word's pitch pattern right from the start. Also, once the pitch falls in a word, it never rises again later on. After that drop, the pitch stays low for the rest of the word and any following particles. Understanding pitch accent is crucial for natural sounding Japanese. Incorrect pitch accent can lead to misunderstandings or make speech sound unnatural. By learning these patterns, your Japanese will flow more smoothly and be more easily understood by native speakers. If you really want to master your Japanese accent, then level 3 is where you get scientific. Pratt is a free tool used by linguists to record and analyze the pitch contours of your speech. And you can visually compare your pitch to that of a native speaker. No guesswork, just straight up feedback. All right, so here's how to install Pratt. Based on your operating system, we're just gonna go over here and click on whatever we have. and I'm going to follow the installation process. So I'm just going to extract the zip. All right, now that you have Pratt installed, make sure to keep it handy because we're going to be demonstrating it here in just a second. Now that you've made it this far in the video, let's apply each level to one word, ohayo gozaimasu, starting with level 1, shadowing. So I'm using this tool immersion kit to pull audio clips of people saying ohayo gozaimasu in dramas. The reason I did dramas and not anime is that this is more closer to real spoken Japanese. I found a clip here that I like.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
So I've just listened to it. Ohayo gozaimasu. So we're gonna go and shadow that a few times until we feel comfortable.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu. I feel pretty comfortable now after shadowing it a couple of times, so we move to step 2, which is breaking it down by pitch accents. So I've gone ahead and analyzed ohayo gozaimasu using this tool here, and we can see that it is broken it up into a rising and then falling pitch. If we go ahead and break up ohayo gozaimasu by pitch using yomitan, we can see that we have ohayo, which is actually heiban, as we described earlier in the video, which means it goes up and stays flat. Then we have no particles after, but we have gozaimasu, and this one is actually nakadaka gozaimasu. It falls. All right, so now with level 2, we have a good grasp on how the pitch accents of each half of ohayo gozaimasu actually make it sound. Let's move on to level 3. So if you followed my tutorial earlier, you're going to want to go wherever you extracted that zip file earlier for Pratt and go ahead and open it up. When you open Pratt up, you should be greeted by these 2 windows. So we don't need this Pratt picture window, so we can go ahead and close that. So what you want to do here is click New, record mono sound, and you should be greeted by another window right here. So we're going to go ahead and record ourselves saying ohayo gozaimasu, ohayo gozaimasu. And I will just name this Ohayo in the bottom right corner and click Save to List. So it was this clip right here. I'm going to go ahead and click download as an MP3 file. And now we can go back over to the Pratt projects window. Now here, you're going to want to go ahead and click open, read from file. We're going to click our recording. It's just named Ohayo, and go ahead and click view and edit. In doing so, you'll open a window showing your sound waves as well as a spectrogram. Now we're going to do the same thing for the audio from the native speaker in the drama. So click that, view and edit, and it'll bring up another window. Now from here, we want to make sure that these are lined up. So for here, I know that I started speaking around here saying ohayo gozaimasu, so we can listen through it. Ohayo gozaimasu. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and highlight that and just click cell for selection. And do the same thing here. So let's go and listen first.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Okay, cool. So that is where he says ohayo gozaimasu. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and cell. So now that we've lined up these recordings together, we can go ahead and drag the windows so we can kind of get those sound waves closer to each other. And let's look at them. So timing wise, we can see that we both say ohayo right here around the same speed. And then looking here, he says gozaimasu. This is where his go starts. Mine starts around the same time. But as you can see, my zai is actually a bit later than his. We can see here, mine is right there. His is actually a little bit earlier. That's kind of the main feature here, is seeing the timings. Now, if we look at the spectrogram here, you're gonna see a blue line. This represents the pitch. So if we go ahead and drag mine over here for ohayo right here, you're gonna see that it follows that heiban pattern. It goes ohayo, so that confirms what we learned in level 2. And then we have gozaimasu, which is nakadaka, so it should start low, go up and stay level, and then drop. If we go here, for me, gozaimasu, right? Except this is silent, so you can see the pitch actually cuts out. We both said, both me and the native speaker, ohayo gozaimasu, right? There's no pitch associated with that, which is why you see that line cutting out. We can see it drops at the s. You would typically see a lower pitch where there's no blue line here. Now I'm gonna record myself really quick actually enunciating the u in ohayo gozaimasu so you can see what that would look like. Ohayo gozaimasu. You're gonna see that this pitch is a lot higher only because it is a female speaker and my voice is a little bit deeper than a woman's. Gozaimasu, so it drops here on the u especially. You're gonna see this big drop here when they say su. Now just for kicks and giggles, let me go ahead and totally butcher the pitches for ohayo gozaimasu and we will see this. And let's just take a listen to each one really quick so you can kind of at first listen to the tones.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu. Okay, so those are very clearly quite different. Remember, the top one is me, bottom one is the native speaker. So you can see I do way too much of a jump here, and then it actually drops on the yo of Ohio. It should stay flat, but I say Ohio, so you can just kind of see just how wildly different these lines are looking. And that's how you can use prat to sharpen your Japanese pitch accent. It takes effort, but this kind of targeted practice leads to real measurable improvement. And if you're aiming for a natural accent, I'd say it's absolutely worth it. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you loved it, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment for the algorithm, of course. No, but seriously, have you tried any of these accent tricks before? Or did I miss any? Let me know down below. By the way, if you're working on your accent, there's a good chance you're also trying to think more naturally in Japanese. If that sounds interesting to you, you can check out my video, How I Started Thinking in Japanese. And if you want to connect, join my Discord. We've got a great community of passionate learners just like you, and we'd love to have you. So keep learning, keep immersing, and keep grinding every day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You've got expectations. I don't wanna chase them. I left my cape behind. Can no longer be your Superman.